r/AskReddit. What's the worst thing someone tried to correct you about something you're specialized at? I was 12 at the time and I watched some weird chat on YouTube, so I learned a lot of weird words that I shouldn't really know at the age of 12. So in our country we celebrate the summer solstice and I had to translate the word tranche from my language to English and everyone was like, no, it's called a ditch, and then I proved them wrong and I was thinking to myself, feeling good, thinking, shut up adult imbeciles, I'm smarter than you at something in this world. So I was a prick back then. Am a valet at a hospital. Not really a specialist, but I know a thing or three about cars, and starting them. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've heard, so to start my car you have to push the brake and push the button. Okay, cool, I know how. Do you have the keys in there for me? No. You don't need a key to start it. Keep in mind here, you need the key fob for the car to start, and be locked, but some people will literally argue with me over this. I am a pretty big fan of Pink Floyd. One guy tried arguing that the dark side of the moon refers to only half of the moon receiving light from the sun, while the other half is always dark. I explained that the moon gets light on both sides. The album references the fact that only one face of the moon is visible from Earth at all times. We never see the backside of the moon from the Earth. We argued for a while, he wouldn't believe me. One source reference later, he admitted I was right. My dad, old school and does not believe in modern science, argued with me in front of all my family and extended ones that the moon phase has an effect on the prolonged bleeding of a cut. What made me mad about it? This was during the party right after my graduation in medical laboratory science program, which I spent 4 years studying about blood and aura. Which he helped pay. Talk about the irony. Nice one, Pop. Send me to school and doubt my knowledge afterwards. A drunk guy at a bar was trying to give me advice on how I should be performing and pursuing music. The manager had my back, and was trying to hint at the guy that I'm a professional and have had a good amount of experience. He didn't get the hint and he wouldn't stop, so the manager finally screamed, listen to me, you fucking idiot, she opened for Rio Speedwagon. She doesn't need your advice. Manager got a good tip from me at the end of the night. I didn't specialize on it, but when I worked at the deli in my local grocery store I had a guy come in asking for some sliced ham. I asked him if he wanted Black Forest ham, honey baked or mesquite ham. He looked at me and said, it's not mesquite, it's mesquite. I pointed at the sign and label, on the actual effing ham, that said mesquite ham, but he still corrected me. I gave up and gave him his damn mesquite ham. This was a good 15 years ago and I'm still mad about it. I'm the captain of a futsal team. When I was injured and sitting on the sidelines, the coach decided to do zone defense while the opposing team had a red card, so it was 4 versus 5. My team was behind 1 goal. And amp, number X200B. When I told him there should have been high pressure, he lashed out and told me my knowledge of football was fundamentally bad. The other team was passing the ball on their own half without any pressure. That coach got sacked directly after that one. Tea is an intense hobby of mine. Making, learning, experimenting, I drink it every day and have tried dozens of blends and varieties. My coworker was telling a group of us that tea is gross because it's always bitter. I said if his tea tastes bitter it's probably oversteeped, either because the water was too hot and burned the ingredients or the leaves were left in the hot water too long. He then ignored me and insisted all teas were just bitter. I have been doing martial arts and combat sports since I was a child. I've got over a decade of experience in taekwondo, kickboxing, muay thai, and BJJ. I'm also fairly proficient as a wrestler. I've had so many people try to educate me on how fights are realistically and how none of the arts I practice work in the streets. Worse than those are the people who have done any sort of training for a whole 2 months and now talk about the warrior's way and all that nonsense. How my dyslexia affects my absolute to read an analog clock. Tried to argue that she has self-diagnosed dyslexia and that all it took for her to learn to read a clock was having her husband leave for and get home from work at certain times. I explained that no, I went through years of training/treatment to overcome dyslexia and numbers are still something I just can't do. She replied with, "Oh, you have number dyslexia, I have Roman numeral dyslexia. I come from New Zealand. At school, we were taught how to properly pronounce Maori vowels. I live overseas and when I go and say a town name or a word that is Maori in origin, I get people who have never been to New Zealand and therefore do not know Maori, try and correct me on my pronunciation. I am not a specialized Maori speaker but it pisses me off. I lived in my home country for 29 years, I am more than qualified enough to know how to pronounce place names. I started a new job repairing arcade games and a bowling alley. Several of these moments have happened over the past few months. Tried to tell me how to use a piece of software and how it works, he was completely wrong, and making it up as he goes. I know because I am the one who created the software. He won't speak to me anymore. Told me I should get real name brand tools like Stanley or Mastercraft. I was using Napex tools, the pinnacle of German built tools. I'm a fraternal twin, I'm female and my twin is male. It's impossible for us to be identical, yet when I tell people that my twin is male and it's just not biologically possible for us to be identical, they tell me, no, it's still possible to be identical twins and not have the same genders. Yeah, okay, I. Like identical means exactly the same, share the exact same DNA. You can't share the exact same DNA and be opposite sex. In class these guys were talking about dirt track cars and it came around to my turn and I told them about this half-truth/half-myth of a guy that built an 80s March Indy car for use on dirt ovals. This led into me explaining what Indy cars are. One of the guys insisted that lots of cars race at the Brickyard but also didn't accept that Indy cars are neither NASCAR or Formula One. He also insisted that the only race cars that go above 220 mph are dragsters. Had someone try to tell me at the gym that I needed to do LAT pulldowns behind the neck for a better contraction. The only thing you get from doing LAT pulldowns or pull-ups or overhead press or whatever else behind the neck is a pair of frickin' up shoulders. Don't do that. You can't even contract the muscles properly with that variant of pull-downs/pull-ups anyway because your arms can't fully extend behind you like they can if you pull the bar to your chest. Online I hear people talking about planes or aircraft in general. Mostly on YouTube video comment section. Especially on the 9/11 attack videos. I have been in the aviation industry for 15 years and every once in a while I like to throw in my 2 cents. On more than one occasion people have tried to correct me saying that planes don't work like that. Or that I don't know anything and that I should shut up. I find it funny that everyone on the internet seems to be an expert. Trains. I like trains. One time at this model railway exhibition this dude claimed that a certain locomotive, called 999, was the first locomotive to reach 100 mph. So I just said, in the snarkiest way possible, well actually that attempt was never official nor was it recorded. Therefore the engine which reached it first would be the one which has proof of the record, which would be 4472, Flying Scotsman. This has nothing to do with my username, I swear. This is really minor, but I have one comic that I collect, The Max. It came out when I was in middle school and it's the only comic title I've ever cared about and collect. When they released the remastered series a couple years ago, I walked into a local comic shop to start a pull list. When I described the title and stated the original publishing year as 1993, the LCS owner interrupted to correct me with 1992. Such a small thing to argue about, but he was dead wrong. I'm a mail carrier for USPS and have been for 12 years. Because I come on people's property and everyone receives mail, it makes a good chunk of the population think they're knowledgeable about my trade and can tell me how to do it. After about the 1783rd time of this happening it began to become irritating. I think because I'm somewhat younger than most carriers that this is also a factor in random strangers telling me what I need to do with my time at work. Jackasses. Not specialized at, but I'm from Germany and I was a foreign exchange student in the US. My host sister there was in 9th grade and they just did European geography. She asked me where I live and so I pointed to the approximate location of my hometown, in Germany, as I am German. She says no and points at France, saying that this is Germany, and that I can't be living over there. We discussed a little bit before I had to accept that I'm apparently living in France. I've been studying space in general like astronomy, astrophysics, etc. since I was 3, didn't start with advanced things right off the gate, I worked my way up. Put your angry comments away, and some guy insisted on the statement that the M in things like M86 stood for Mark instead of Messi and I tried to explain it to him but he did that thing where he just makes loud noises while you're trying to talk to drown you out. I had never been more frustrated in my life. Thanks for watching this auto-generated video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload videos like this one daily. I put a lot of time into developing this video generator, but if there have been errors, please tell me in the comments below. Also leave me a link to another thread you would like to see a video about. Have a great day, Alex.